We're announcing the open source release of Common Ground. About 4 years ago, it was us dreaming up this idea of a more decentralized, more community-owned Discord. And we've come pretty far. But before we rehash the history of this project, Jan, I would love for you to tell us about the key features that you and the team developed over the last 4 years.
Florian, thank you very much. What you see here is us having a broadcast call on Common Ground, which is similar to Twitter Spaces in a sense. This is made for every use case you can imagine where you get in touch with people. We do have an events functionality that aligns pretty well with our broadcast feature. I can schedule an event. I could also restrict the event so that it's only visible or joinable by certain roles. You also want to manage channels. You want to manage who can see what, who can access what. We do have a role system for that. If you go to community settings, roles and permissions, members is the general role that everybody has, and guests is the role that is public. So somebody who has not yet joined your community can see only things that have been set up for guests to see. We have multiple other roles, and we also have claimable roles. These are a bit special. These claimable roles are actually token gated. The token holder role, for example, has selected the Common Ground token as the gating token. And now you can set an amount, and anyone who has a wallet connected and on one of these connected wallets the Common Ground token exists can now automatically go to the roles page and claim this role. You see that we have lots of chat channels here, and these here are marked with a little lock. These are gated channels that are not accessible to everyone. And for example, the Whales chat channel is only accessible to CG Token Whales, moderators, and the core team. And token holders can preview the channel, but not actually see the content of the channel. So if I create a new token, you see that Common Ground supports multiple blockchains, basically the most common ERC token standards, as well as LSP token standards, because Common Ground also supports the Luxor blockchain, which has been a close partner for us over many years now. So if you select a chain and then input a token contract, the backend automatically detects what token it is. You could now save this token, add it to your community, and after that, you can gate all your roles and permissions with this specific new token. Last but not least, you can also extend your community with various new functions. Either use existing plugins that you can discover in our App Store, or you can add your own plugins. Adding plugins is really easy. You just go to the community settings, plugins, create plugin, and you see you can give a plugin a name and a URL. And this URL can be any website that is embeddable as an iframe. Scroll further down, you can see that this plugin can also be made discoverable on the plugin App Store, so other communities can also use your plugin. And you can also allow plugins to give people new roles in your community. You can integrate plugin functionality, for example, payments or other blockchain functionality, and then your backend will be able to manage user roles in your community just by being embedded in your community as an iframe. This is pretty amazing because you can do lots of crazy use cases with this. And we are constantly expanding the API for plugins. Rest assured, we will build even more functionality for plugins in the near future.
Thank you, Jan, for showing us the platform. You can see it's a really big project with many features very specific to our app. I hope that there is a lot of value for people to work with our open source code base and contribute and help improve, squash bugs, and add new features. At least that's what we hope. We feel the platform is quite mature, given that it's still, of course, in some sort of beta phase. Let's be honest there, but we have a pretty solid user base. And most importantly, we launched a governance token for the Common Ground project. Our vision was always that, unlike Discord or other traditional social media, Common Ground should be user-owned, and we think a governance token can be a big step in that direction. So there was a big airdrop to all the users that have been on this app with us for the last 4 years, rewarding them for showing up, joining calls, writing posts. And I hope a lot of people got happy with the airdrop they received. And of course, there's a lot more to say. We also wrote a bunch of articles. If you go to the Common Ground community, you can just scroll through our blog posts that started right when we launched the project, and you can see pretty much every development stage that we took over the last 4 years. That's a pretty cool way to dive deeper. Yeah, it's ready to move to its next chapter. So we will open source the entire code base, which will allow anyone to host their own version of Common Ground, to make contributions, share back to the public so everybody can benefit from these improvements. But since I'm not the tech guy, Jan, maybe you want to quickly give your thoughts on the open sourcing.
I mean, it's pretty exciting. We have been working a long time on this code base, and the code base is obviously not perfect. No code base of any open source release ever was, but we're still very excited to share this code because the world needs more open source social network or social alternatives to actually own the infrastructure of our communication. And I think that's a really important step.
Fully agree on this. We plan to open source under HGPL. It's the strongest copyleft license model that's currently out there. It's widely accepted in the open source community. And I think it will ensure that Common Ground will develop further with public contributions and sort of oriented towards the common good. That's currently the plan. The other big step, besides the open sourcing, is that we want to do what some people in the research community call exit to community. The entire governance infrastructure around Common Ground should move into the Common Ground DAO, which will be an on-chain organization. It doesn't exist yet, but we've done our research and we're about to set it up probably in December, which will mean that all the token holders, which is currently about 180, 190 people all over the world, they will become the stewards of the project with power to govern the treasury that consists mostly of CG tokens and some crypto, but they will also be stewards of the Common Ground license. So I mentioned we want a license under HGPL, but maybe in the future there will be some change. For whatever reason, the community believes it should be a different license. So all of those core functions will be moved and handed over to the community. We hope that there will be a lot of interest in governing Common Ground. We hope that it will be easy to facilitate with all these plugins, which will hopefully make the governance of all of this a really cool extension of the platform itself. Yeah, besides that, we have another strategic goal in mind. Obviously, now as just two among many participants. So I think it's important and exciting to hear about it quickly from Jan, who's the core person behind this new strategic direction.
I think it is really a great match to bring games into Common Ground. Gaming communities can organize around their game, organize with the developers on self-owned infrastructure. And due to the open nature of the platform, it is very easy for projects to customize the experience for their community around their game or their content. Some magic components come together here.
All right, that was a quick 360 of Common Ground's past, Common Ground's future, and the product that we've built. We hope it's exciting for you. We hope you're interested in becoming an open source contributor to Common Ground, be it as a governance person, be it as a developer on the code base, be it as someone that helps to write documentation. There are a lot of ways that we think people can bring value to this emerging community and emerging project. The DAO has a big stash of tokens that it will use to reward all contributors, be it technical or non-technical. And we hope that this way we can really continue building this project into a successful, widely used, well-maintained open source platform for the future web. And maybe, Jan, you want to share sort of your vision around, say, many people host their own instance of Common Ground, how we will bring all of that together in a sort of a decentralized network, because I think this is the missing piece.
Absolutely, yeah. First of all, the first layer of decentralization is that anyone can host their own Common Ground instance. So this way we have decentralized instances that are hosted by several people that can be connected on various levels. One direction that we could take would be to build like a Common Ground protocol specifically made for Common Ground platforms to communicate with each other. The other way is connecting Common Ground to existing protocols. There are many existing protocols out there. For example, for chat, this would be Matrix or IRC. For articles and posts and social content, this would be ActivityPub. There are several protocols out there by supporting which Common Ground could become part of already existing decentralized structures. Maybe we don't want to build our own here, but at the same time, we want to connect to all these decentralized platforms and projects so that Common Ground becomes like the social hub that connects it all. The second step of decentralization is the plugin infrastructure, because everybody can host their own plugins or their own content or their own functionality for Common Ground and integrate it into the platform. Basically, the platform becomes very open to community-generated content and community-managed projects. And the third way how Common Ground can decentralize is that you also want to be able to embed Common Ground into existing projects. For example, if you have a website, then it would be really nice if you could integrate your community activity feed, if you could integrate community chats. You might be able to integrate Common Ground even in your Android or iOS app. And I think with these three legs, we can basically bring it everywhere.
That's a really important addition to what we just said. Something you didn't mention that I find really exciting also is this idea that we can use our plugin architecture or sort of leverage the general principles behind it to create one base common ground that can integrate all the other existing common ground instances. We could build a decentralized hub for all existing common ground instances without even having to build a synchronization protocol. It's really leveraging our embedding infrastructure to embed other common grounds into one sort of meta common ground. It seems quite feasible that we can do this. And I think it would be really neat to both have self-hosted instances, but still have one sort of meta instance that allows me to discover all those self-hosted instances. This is also a really exciting and sort of necessary building block for this vision that we're pursuing.
The general idea is that when you have your own common ground instance somewhere, let's say it's your home instance, or you may even have 2 or 3 home instances, then you can also bring communities on content from other instances into your sidebar, and let's say. So you can achieve quite a level of federation with that.
That's really cool. So there is a lot of ideas how we can take this further. It all hinges on the community being ready to support this. This is now becoming a public good. So it really depends on the community supporting us or supporting itself, really. Us as the founders, of course, we will stay very much involved. Our heart and soul is in this project. We think now is the time to try this. We have a strong community that loves us and uses us every day. We have a token out there, and we have all the necessary ingredients to try it. And this will be the attempt to do it. We hope that you accompany us on this journey, that you support us on this journey, and that you can see yourself be really deeply involved in this project, because that's really what we need. So thank you, everybody. We're really excited that you're on this journey with us, and see you on Common Ground.
Thank you, everyone. See you on Common Ground.